All right, welcome to Mr. Bedley's lesson with his 4th and 5th grade class. We're learning about multi-paragraph essays, and everybody's taking a stab at writing a multi-paragraph essay on breakfast. And so today I'm going to show you how I wrote a paragraph or an essay on breakfast. So first of all, I made an outline to get my ideas down on paper. Now obviously you would write this out with a pencil. I typed it up because you're not going to be able to read it on the board up here if I just scribbled my ideas down with a pencil. Up here it'd be a little tricky. But anyway, this is a multi-paragraph essay, and we're using the Step Up to Writing format for this. And our topic, of course, was breakfast. So let's take a look at the way I outline this for paragraph 1. My background, that's what this means right here, is background. My background is that I thought about breakfast. Well, first of all, my brain started with the thesis. And I decided that I was going to talk about breakfast having to do with my family and how my family likes to have breakfast together. So my thesis is going to be something about family breakfasts are, really enjoyable and stuff like that. Okay, it's my thesis. My whole paper is going to be about my family having breakfast together. Because we could write anything about breakfast. I didn't tell you exactly what it had to be. Anything about breakfast. So then I'm thinking about some background. Well, there's other fun things that I like to do with my family besides having breakfast. Like we like to play games together, board games and stuff like that. And then we like to just hang out and talk to each other. So these are all different things that we like to do that are fun, but breakfast is one of those really cool things. So then I come down into my idea of breakfast. Now I have to have a plan in my paragraph 1, and I'm going to talk about the 2 ways that we have breakfast together. In my mind, I split it up. I'm like, okay, when we have breakfast together, how could I split that up into 2 different big ideas? And I thought, well, the 2 big ideas are we can either have breakfast at home or we can have breakfast at a restaurant. We can go out someplace. Okay, so that's how I split it in my mind. I'm going to pause right there, and I want you guys to turn and tell your neighbor everything you can remember so far about my paragraph and what I taught you. Go. All right, so you guys talked with your neighbor about paragraph 1. Now let's go ahead and color code this, even on the outline. What color do we color background information, everybody? Blue. Good. So I'm going to underline this with blue. What color does anybody know what color we do the thesis with? Say it. Green. Green, good. So I'm going to switch to green over here and make that green. Okay. And then our plan is also going to be green because it gets us going on our paragraph there. Tells everybody what's coming. All right, now my first RDF, what does RDF stand for? Reason, detail, fact. Good, my first reason, detail, fact about enjoying my breakfast with my family is one place that we can have breakfast is where? Home. What color is this going to be right here? Yellow. Yellow, good. So kind of hard to see there, but that's yellow, all right? And then I have some X's. I have some examples and explanations of me having breakfast at home with my family. What color are all these? Red. Good. All right, so this is red, 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 red. Now notice that, let's go back to this idea here that I'm going to use orange. How about that orange? Okay. This idea goes back to my thesis. My RDF about eating at home is where I'm enjoying breakfast with my family. I'm supporting the idea that it's fun to have breakfast with my family by showing my family eating breakfast together in my home. Okay, and then I explain and give examples of having breakfast in the home. My kids have their friends come over. Sometimes they spend the night, and then we have breakfast together the next morning, right? Everybody's gathering in the kitchen in my home having breakfast. We eat, what's an example of what we eat for breakfast in our home? We eat bacon, eggs, waffles, other things like that I might mention. And then another explanation of having fun with breakfast with my family is it's actually fun to do the dishes together. Kind of weird, but that's what we do. Okay, so that's my first paragraph. Now, this, I wrote paragraph on there so you can see. This is one paragraph with an indent. Okay, this is my second paragraph right here. And the beginning of this paragraph is going to be indented. You should be able to skim. When I write my paper, You should be able to skim with your eyes right down the edge of my paper and see indent, indent, another one here, indent for paragraph 3. And then you should see paragraph 4 with the 4th indent. You should see 4 indents down the side of my paper. Look at your paper right now. Do you see 4 indents down the edge of your paper? If not, you're not getting the idea of a multi-paragraph essay. Now let's color code this next one and then I'm going to let you talk. So my second big idea that I'm going to talk about, remember there's 2 ways. I say right here that there's 2 ways that my family enjoys breakfast together. One is in our home and the second one is what? At a restaurant. What color is that already at?
Yellow.
Good, yellow. So we go out to eat, in other words, okay, for breakfast. And I give some explanation of that. What color?
Red.
Good. We go out on Saturdays usually because that's when everybody actually has the time to do that. I'm going to talk about how much fun it is to drive, even to the restaurant. Makes it for a good family time. How when we go out to eat, that not everybody has to eat the same thing. They can all have different choices since they're at a restaurant, you know. And we have more face-to-face contact because we're all sitting around the table looking at each other. So that's some good, you know, family time. And then, of course, it's kind of nice to go out to eat because it's a little bit less work. You don't have to cook it, you don't have to clean it up and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so, and again, just a reminder that this second one comes back, first of all, to my plan. It's one of the 2 ways, and it's supporting the idea that it's really enjoyable to have breakfast with my family by going out to a restaurant. I'm going to pause, and you are going to turn to your neighbor. Make sure if you did more of the talking this time, you let the other person talk. What have you learned about how I'm organizing my paragraph? Go. All right, so the other thing I want to make clear to you is that each one of these is at least 1 sentence. Now, I can combine some things together, like maybe I could combine my thesis together with my plan, kind of throw it in there with it, but I like to keep my thesis separate, so it's just, bang, here's my thesis, really loud and clear, real, you know, strong words in it, and I like to keep my plan a little bit separate. You could possibly combine your background information and kind of lead into your thesis statement, but again, I like that thesis statement separate. These are all separate sentences. That's a topic sentence for this paragraph. Support sentence, support sentence, support sentence, support. How many sentences, everybody, are in that paragraph? 5. Good. 1. How many sentences are going to be in that paragraph? 6, including my topic sentence, right? And then my last paragraph, my conclusion, is going to be 2 sentences. So my conclusion is what color? Does anybody know?
Green.
Green. Good. Okay, green. I'm going to color code this. I'm going to say, notice I'm coming up with a different word, but this is really important. Some of you guys didn't get this on your essay. This one has to come back to my thesis statement. Notice how similar it is. Pleasurable family times. Breakfast enjoyable with the family. It's almost the same thing, except I used a different word of pleasurable instead of enjoyable. So it doesn't become so redundant and boring. Then I come up with this kind of a new idea that's related to it, where I'm talking to my reader and I'm saying, hey, don't even think about skipping breakfast. Create some memories with your family and do something fun for breakfast with your family. So I'm kind of talking to the reader right there. Okay, I'm going to pause again. Talk to your neighbor about this idea of the conclusion paragraph and the idea of sentences. Where are my sentences showing in here? Go. So, there we go. Okay, we're moving to the actual writing of the paragraph now. I want you to understand that this right here is the majority of my work. Once I've done this, writing the essay is a piece of cake. Now, writing a good essay is not a piece of cake. I've got to go dig up thesauruses and dictionaries and go on the internet and do all this stuff to make my essay awesome. Maybe use my checklist you guys know from last year, how you can put dress-ups and openers and all that kind of stuff. I can just do all that stuff in there, but just to get a first draft, a real easy draft of my essay, piece of cake once I have this done. So here we go.